I stood right here and watched my Challenger, my 992, and my ZL1 Camaro drive away. I traded those three because I wanted to free up some debt. That sounds stupid, but I've had seller's remorse ever since. Not sleeping right, I'm not focusing. I'm kidding, but in reality, I hated that I had to do that so much that I decided that we're gonna bring them all back. Not those cars, but we're gonna bring some cars back. So what I did in the last month is traded those three for the M8 that you guys saw in a couple of videos ago. It's weird right now, right? You try to find a rare or exotic or whatever car that's not out of the norm for typical manufacturers, such as the Red Eye Hellcat and such as the like 992. You just can't get those for a couple of years now. Even if you have an allocation, you're still a couple of years out. I called around had to have been like 30 dealerships trying to find an allocation that they would be willing to sell me or give me that would sell the vehicle at or below MSRP. Dave here on YouTube got me an allocation over at Granger in where are they? Illinois, Iowa, one of those two. And I was able to get that Hellcat Red Eye wide body jailbreak for about 10% off of MSRP. Unheard of right now. That was the only allocation they got at the time, so it was pretty special opportunity. Fast forward to about a month ago, I had the Hellcat, I had the Camaro, I had the 992 that I got about 2 years ago. That took about a year to get in, and I realized I was in over my head on debt. Sold them all for the M8. You guys all saw that if you watched my videos. Now, the dealership that bought those three cars had them all listed for obviously way more than what they paid me for. The 992 was 30K over, the Hellcat was, what was it? It was like 19 over, and the Camaro was like 9,000 over. They sold the 992 right away, of course, because you can't get those things for years. The Hellcat, they claim to have it sold at like 123, so they're still making like 15K on that. And the Camaro's just sitting there. I don't know if there's an update on that. So if I wanted the cars back, I was going to pay a pretty penny over what I sold them for to this dealership, and not wanting to do that by getting gouged, I started looking out for different options. I'm not going to replace the 911 for a couple years, but I got my name and on the GT3 RS list. I don't know where I'm at in the spectrum of the priority. Every dealership I was calling to replace the Hellcat, the Red Eye wide body jailbreak, 25K over, 30K over, some are even like $50,000 over MSRP. This is what I'm getting at. You gotta be careful as to who you talk to and who you allow to charge those premiums, because it's really not right. I don't think, manufacturers set MSRP for a reason, and that is what cars should be sold at. You go to the secondary market, sure, I get it, the market value. Like even some Porsche dealerships in California were talking to me, well, we're selling 992s at market value. It's like, what does that mean? It means whatever you're willing to sell it to me for. That's what it means. And whatever someone's willing to pay for it. Me being someone who values the effort I put into making the money that I do to afford some of these cars, I'm not just going to bend over and accept what you think is fair for a car. So again, I called probably 30 dealerships. They're trying to get a Hellcat Red Eye wide body jailbreak. Not willing to spend 20, 30, 50K over MSRP. Dropping down a tier, going to the Hellcat jailbreak wide body, still 717 horsepower. It's more than enough you need. I was finding 25,000 over from one of my local dealers, 5,000, 10,000, 2,500. It was not as much, but it was still a premium over MSRP, and I don't think that's right. So anyway, I was able to find a dealership pretty local to me actually that was willing to sell at MSRP. I'm going to bounce back to this in a second. At the same time, another dealership local to me, I was able to find an allocation for a Camaro ZL1. So I have a ZL1 1LE coming sometime in the next probably 12 months. I don't have a build date. They have my build and my name on it. I didn't put any money down. It's just I promised to buy this when it comes in type of deal. Same thing with the Hellcat coming in. I built it. It's going to be different than the Red Eye that I just got rid of. It'll be nice looking. There's things on that one, such as the wheels that I spec, but the dealership messed it up. Anyway, it's going to be different. It's going to be cool, and it'll be good. That was also agreed to at MSRP, if not a discount with any rebates at the time that it comes in. Talking about the Camaro. Speaking of the Camaro and the Challenger, there's always been a third car that I've wanted to get my hands on for years, but I've never been able to find one that a dealership would be able to sell at or below MSRP. They always wanted 10K, 15K over. And even today, like this this car right here, the dealership wanted $10,000 over MSRP. I said, all right, I'm out. Sorry. Thanks anyway. And the dealership called me a week later, last week, and they said, management is willing to sell this car at MSRP. I was like, great, hell yeah, I'm in. We gotta scratch this itch, got seller's remorse. I got the 2 on deck. Let's get the 3rd one that I always wanted, that I never thought I would get. Let's just wrap it up. I was able to acquire this at MSRP. So kind of going back to what I said before, don't just accept a dealership if they want to sell you a car. If you're willing to pay for it, that's one thing, but you don't have to do that. There's other dealerships. That's why we have this competitive market. You know, you can't. It's not like Tesla out there. The price you see online is the price you pay. For every dealership selling one of these, there's 20 more. This is more rare than like a Prius or something like that. So those, and like a Civic, I was able to get a crazy discount on that because there's 15 other Honda dealerships within 50 miles that's exaggerated, but that are willing to negotiate more just to get the sale. Especially, I've always tell my friends this, the best month, in my opinion, to buy a car is February. The best week of that month is obviously the last. Dealerships have salesmen who have quotas, who are willing to negotiate and accept less for a car than they typically would on like March 1st, for example, because everything resets. I think that is why the dealership was willing to let this go at MSRP. All right, that was a long intro. Sorry, I know you guys probably fast forward or clicked off this, but I wanted to give you a little backstory and a little bit of advice from me. I sell and buy cars way more often than I should, and I wanted to explain this. I'm gonna wash this thing up, and I'll highlight some areas that I found already that need to be corrected before I get into that. Okay, so I'll stop talking, check this thing out. Alright, that's right. Never thought I'd buy a Ford, but I picked up this GT500. Years of looking for one, always wanting to get an allocation, never been able to get one without paying 10-15K over MSRP. This is a pretty perfect spec. I probably would have gone one shade lighter on the gray, but the black stripes is great. The Recaro seats, I don't know if I would have done those, or the electric, more comfortable seats. I don't track my cars. I don't beat on them like that. I'll do some pretty good accelerations here and there, but I'm not going to ever bring them to a track. Never say never, because I never thought I'd buy a Ford either. But you may have saw in the video, this thing was at the dealership for a couple weeks, so there are some marks on it that I need to get corrected, especially on these cheap ass black vinyl stickers. Like, you see all that crap? It's not clear off yet, but it needs to be corrected before I can protect it here. So I'm going to spend today focusing on that. I did find this little mark right here, which is kind of disappointing. See, I already am anticipating I need to have it repainted, but I am gonna try to attempt to just bring some heat to it, and hopefully that'll kind of correct itself. If not, I need to get this little piece repainted. And I really hate repainting brand new cars. You just shouldn't have to do it, but it happens. So hopefully they can just blend this in for maybe just up to the stripe or just under the stripe or something. And over here, I think they'll do a good job. Throughout the entire car, you know, this thing sat at a dealership. I've said before in videos, but right, it's dirty, so I'll have to clean it before I can really show off some of the imperfections. But I've said before in videos, if you can at all have any control over whether the dealership touches your car, don't let them do it, especially if you're kind of have that perfectionist, kind of like myself. I would much rather this have come in, not even touched. It looks black in this angle, to prevent stuff like that, because they put it on the showroom. You know, they want to make it shiny and clean and have it be a wow factor for when customers come in. So they take their dirty ass towels and they touch it and they install swirl marks that people like me don't like to see, so then I'll have to spend the majority of my day correcting it. So okay, I'm gonna get going on the wash. Since this is a brand new car, I'm gonna polish it. I'm gonna do some Adams iron remover. So I'm gonna spray this on, let it sit for like a minute or two, and we'll just rinse it off. Dang, this thing changes colors depending on what angle you look at it. Or I guess how the light hits it, I suppose. Anyway, got it all dried. I just air dried it, or used the little blower deal. I didn't put a towel to it yet, but it's not, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. You'll see some areas, like these vinyl stickers here. You know, see all that? The dealership, I'm sure, had something to do with some of this. This thing, I'm gonna try to get that out with some heat. No promises, but there you can kind of see some of those marks. I really hate gloss black on cars, if I haven't said that already. Gloss black is where you probably see most of the imperfections. That's not looking that bad right there. Yeah, see all that? Look at all that. Nasty. Damn it, I hate gloss black. The whole thing is like that. And then you can see on the paint here too, between the stickers. Gray doesn't show as much. I'm gonna polish the whole thing anyway. Vinyl stickers, polish black, parts, everything. I saw a little scuff down here. I was able to get most of that out with my hand, but see this little guy? Stuff like that. I want to get out before we wrap this in clear film. The camera's probably not picking up as much as I can tell in person, but even things like, see if this comes up. Yeah, like that little mark right there. See it? Anyway, I'm gonna take Brupez polisher with the yellow foam pad, and I'll do the 210. This isn't very aggressive stuff. It's actually one of the more least aggressive. So I'm just gonna do a little test section in the front here real quick, see how it turns out. That turns out good, and I'll be satisfied with that, and then I can just do that bare minimum on the entire car. Set on low. Trying to avoid stuff like that. That turned out. I got, I'd say like 93% of it. It was pretty bad before. The edges I didn't get too close on, so those aren't that great. I mean, I'd be pretty happy with that. It's a little mark right there. For the most part, it's looking really good. See some stuff right up there. I'll go around a second time and kind of finish off some of those. I don't want to get the heavier compound out, but it looks, see where I stopped right here. Looks pretty good, I think. Gray, you won't be able to tell much, but I saw a spot like right here. Yeah, like see this type of stuff? Someone, well, you can't see because of the light. Someone was leaning up against it like that. This should come off quite easily. There, see in that groove here? I think someone might have tried polishing it already. Okay, I'm gonna go around off camera and I'm gonna polish up this whole thing. It'll probably take me It's gonna take me a few hours. All right, I got the whole hood minus that section over here. Got this front fender and the driver's side door done. I was just getting ready to move over to this fender, and that's that. That's definitely an area someone tried polishing before. So let's see if we can get rid of that. All the way down here too. Stop right here. Just a real quick couple of passes. Appears to be, for the most part, I'm seeing just a little bit. Still not using any compound, just polish. Trying to be as least aggressive as possible. There we go. Just that little tiny line right there, but happy with that. Give it like an A-. Gonna go around and do the rest of the car now. This wing, all the gloss black parts, this whole back piece. Oh, my back! So it took about 3 hours. I need to wash it again. Surprisingly, this is probably my favorite car I've ever polished. It was very, I have to do this little hood part. I'll do that quick. This is probably my favorite car I've ever polished. How simple it was to, ignore that, that's just residue. Just how simple it was and how quickly it showed results. This little mark right here, I used some heat. And it's better, but it's not perfect. But it certainly is better. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do anything about that or not. I hope it's worth the effort. Excuse the overspray on some of the polish residue, but the paint turned out pretty damn good actually. And things like, there's probably a bunch of dust on here, but yeah, I see a bunch of dust. So look at that, like the wing turned out really well. I'd give it again like probably like an A- or so, not perfect, but the paint, I keep talking about that. The paint just, it polished up super well. And again, this was on the show floor at the dealership, and it had definitely been fondled and caressed a few times. Only 8 miles on it, but you know, those dealerships, they try to make it look all nice and shiny. So I'm gonna pull it over here, and I'm just gonna rinse it off, foam it up, and then rinse that off, and then dry it and call her good. And then I wanna get on the inside and start tearing apart some of this crap. I need to get like these window stickers off of here. There's some on the driver's side. I need to get all this put together. I ordered some WeatherTech mats for it, then I'll show you guys the inside. I haven't really looked in here. What the hell is this? Foam? Frickin' Ford? Okay, I'll do this quick just to get some of that residue off of there. I'm gonna rinse it and foam it. I'll rinse it again. I can confirm all the startup audio clips I've gotten so far have been in normal mode, but I'm going to dry it. We'll make this easy. Alright, that's a lot better. Now what I got to do is go around and I got to remove stickers and I got some WeatherTech mats I think I mentioned already. I want to get those put in here, and then she is done. Gotta clean up some of this crap too on the inside also. I might wait to do that until after it's clear wrapped. What do you guys think of this color? It looks really dark, almost black, kind of like the M8 over there, but not as dark, especially when you get it up to like this two-tone area. Oh, looks like look how fragile these things are. I had this perfect. I must have just did that with my towel. Maybe it's residue, I'm not sure. But you can see how light it is compared to black. What is that, residue? Alright, let's get these stickers off of here. Get the WeatherTechs installed, and I'll show you guys a little bit about this car. I got her all done. She is ready for clear bra now, I think, and tint. Still debating about what to do with this little front piece. I got it looking decent, but it's not perfect. And I don't know if it's worth repainting the entire bumper, but that's probably the best thing to do to fix it. Alright, so what you see here is a 2022 GT500. Bought this brand new from a dealership local to me. The exterior color is a little bit darker than I thought it would be in person, because if you look at this online, it's more of a not like a billet silver like the Ram, but not as dark as this appears. The color is dark matter gray metallic. It has, you can see here, it has some pretty good accents when you pair it next to the back. Kind of depends on the angle you're looking at, how much light you have. For example, it looks darker in person than it does on the camera here. And these don't have a whole lot of options. I mean, you can get crazy. It's like an $18,000 track package, which comes with like carbon fiber wheels and bigger wing, and I think just a bunch of weight saving stuff. But I didn't build this, so it kind of came as you see it. But the few options it does have on the outside, I don't know if you could tell from the outside, but it has the handling package, which I'm not really sure what that is. It's some type of adjustable strut. But then just the last one are these black vinyl stickers here. You can get them painted, you can get them without stickers. This one was optioned with the black vinyl, so it is just a sticker. When I clear wrap it, you will have that probably a slight line there, kind of like the Challenger had, but it should be fine. I think it's worth wrapping anyway. And then on the inside, you have a technology package, which comes with a bunch of goodies, including I wish they made this nicer looking, because part of that technology package is the Bang & Olufsen audio. If you look at any of these higher end cars, like, which one? I don't think any of these have Bang & Olufsen. Actually, the R8 would have Bang & Olufsen, and the speaker grades would be a lot more quality looking than this cheap plastic. But, I mean, hopefully they sound good. And the other option on the inside of these were car seats. I would not have probably picked these. I mean, they don't look bad. Little things like this, got to work on like some staining. But I probably would have picked the leather powered ones, because these don't even have powered or memory seats. So if someone were to drive this car instead of me and adjust it, I have to go all crazy and get my settings back to how they were. But that's basically it for options. I don't think I missed anything. It's just the technology package, handling package, and the Recaro seats. There's a lot more that were available, such as that track deal, but I don't know, I think this is, it's tasteful. It's not too overpowering. It'll complement the other beasts coming in later this year, and it'll be nice. Inside here, I mean, first impressions, let me close this. It's similar, I would say, to the Camaro as far as quality. I mean, maybe a little bit less. I guess you have a B&O logo right there, but I mean, it is cheaper materials inside. You do have some soft touch stuff where I guess you would be touching, but I mean, it is a cheap interior. The headliner is not Alcantara, it's just kind of a cloth. I mean, sitting here, I haven't adjusted my seat at all. Let me do that real quick. We have a manual steering wheel adjuster. Does it even adjust? Oh, here it is. Probably right about there. So yeah, everything is manual in this. Let me grab the key real quick. The doors open nicely, which is good. That's nicer than the Challenger. I'd say similar, maybe even nicer than the Camaro. Just the way it feels when it shuts. You know, it feels pretty solid. We got the B&O speakers all throughout the dash. I think there's 10 of them in here. My visuals outside of here is actually pretty dang nice. Better than the Camaro. I'd say better than the Challenger too, honestly. I don't know if it's this back quarter window that's helping, but I mean, this interior feels really nice. And these seats, now that I'm sitting in them, they feel nice. Maybe I would pick these. They hug you pretty nice. Just kind of wish I didn't have the white accents, because there's nothing really else that's white in here except for the stitching and door panels. I guess it's alright. Let me grab the keys. I'm curious if this is going to wear out prematurely. I land on this when I go to sit in here. This bolster. Alright, foot on the brake, button to start. Pretty good feedback on the inside. Dim down. So you have your shifter right here. Looks like an electronic parking brake. But if you push this toggle, yeah, that's how you toggle through your settings for your exhaust dome. So it automatically starts in normal. You throw that son of a bitch in track. Yeah, she wakes up. Again, kind of cheaper interior. Let's see here, how do I get the vents on? Just like that. Yeah, fan speed. This is kind of neat. How that works. I like that it has a little badge right there. That's pretty cool. The climate control is kind of nicer in the display here versus here, because I can't control where it's going to. It has to be done in here, so I might as well move, an inch to the left and control it that way. Audio sounds nice. I've just set all those presets. I mean, overall, I think I'm happy with it. One thing I'm a pretty big stickler on is I really want a good backup camera, right? The Challenger is just probably the worst backup camera I've ever seen, even worse than the Ferraris, and that's a very expensive car, and those backup cameras are almost worthless. This one doesn't seem too bad. Yeah, it's got a pretty good feedback. Better than Mopar, that's for sure. But the Ram, I should say, the Ram has a really nice backup camera. I like this transmission. It gives me kind of Porsche GT vibes. Actually, I gotta back this end, so let's go the other way. God, this thing sounds really good. Hopefully that's being picked up through the mic. Just that little bit of feedback I'm hearing from the exhaust sounds incredible. Almost, dare I say, better than the Camaro? Ooh. Doesn't take much, I already broke loose right there. That's a good looking car. Looking forward to getting her wrapped and then trying her out this summer. Not sure what I'm gonna do about this part still. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not how it should be. It bugs me. Damn it. Dang, looks good in the stable though. Very nice. And it cleaned up super nice too. Alright guys, I'm gonna end this video here. Hope you guys like the addition to the stable. Had seller's remorse. Couldn't get them all back without spending more than I got. And wanting to just add tastefully to the stable. I think this is a good pick. See here, it looks almost black. I don't know, it's not obviously, but it changes depending on the angle. I'm telling you, it's really cool. So let me know what you guys think of it. As always, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks.